Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online, the show that digs into the most fascinating corners of our world. Today, we're asking a big question. In an age where satellites have mapped every street and robots are exploring the deepest sea trenches, is there anything truly big left to discover? We often think of megafauna, those giant animals like woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, as belonging to a lost world. Something we only see in museums. But what if I told you the age of discovery isn't over? What if I told you that right now, scientists are still finding giants? Not Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, but real, living, breathing megafauna, hidden in remote jungles, the dark abyss of the ocean, and sometimes even hiding in plain sight. This is the story of how we find them, and what their existence means for our planet. First, let's get our terms straight. What exactly is megafauna? The word comes from the Greek megas for large and Latin fauna for animal life. A common scientific benchmark, proposed by paleontologist Paul S. Martin, classifies any animal weighing over 44 kilograms, or about 100 pounds, as megafauna. That means, technically, many humans are on the low end of the megafauna scale. These large animals often share a life strategy. They're what biologists call K-strategists. This means they have long lifespans, they reproduce slowly, and they have low natural mortality rates. It's a great strategy for a stable environment, but it makes them incredibly vulnerable to new threats, like a certain tool-wielding primate that came on the scene. For millions of years, Earth was a planet of giants. During the Pleistocene epoch, which ended about 11,700 years ago, every continent except Antarctica was teeming with enormous creatures. North America had mammoths and giant ground sloths. Australia had 2.5-meter-tall kangaroos and a giant monitor lizard called Megalania. Then, almost overnight in geological time, they vanished. About 65% of the world's megafauna species disappeared. The big debate is why. Was it the rapid climate change at the end of the last ice age? Or was it us? The overkill hypothesis suggests that as modern humans spread across the globe, these large animals, who had never encountered such an efficient predator, were easy targets. Their slow reproductive rates meant they just couldn't keep up with the hunting pressure. The reality is likely a combination of both. But the result was a world largely emptied of its largest animals. Despite those massive losses, the discovery of new megafauna didn't stop. In the 19th and 20th centuries, animals that are now household names were discovered by Western science, even though local and indigenous peoples had known about them for centuries. The gorilla was only formally described in 1847, the okapi, the so-called African unicorn, in 1901. And the giant panda wasn't known to the West until 1869, and this trend continues today, leading to some of the most exciting zoological stories of our time. Let's look at one of the most spectacular finds of the 20th century, the saola. In May 1992, a team of scientists in Vietnam's Annamite Mountains visited a hunter's home and saw something extraordinary: a skull with incredibly long, straight, parallel horns. They knew it was something new. This was the first large mammal new to science in over 50 years. Nicknamed the Asian unicorn for its rarity, the saola is a beautiful animal with a chocolate brown coat and striking white markings on its face. But here's the astonishing part. To this day, no scientist has ever seen a saola in the wild. All we have are a few camera trap photos and remains from local villages. Tragically, this discovery was immediately a conservation crisis. The saola is critically endangered, not because it's hunted directly, but because it gets caught in indiscriminate snares set for other animals. Its story is a powerful reminder that sometimes we find a new species just as it's about to disappear. Fast forward to early 2024 in the Amazon rainforest. A team of scientists, working with the Waorani indigenous people, went looking for a population of anacondas rumored to be the largest in existence. They found them. One female measured a staggering 6.3 meters long, nearly 21 feet. The Waorani people even say they've seen them over 7.5 meters. But the real shock came from the genetics lab. This northern green anaconda, which looks identical to its southern cousins, is a completely separate species. The two groups split apart almost 10 million years ago. To put that in perspective, they differ genetically by 5.5%. Humans and chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, differ by only about 2%. The discovery of this new species, named Eunectes akayima, or the great snake in the local Carib language, was only possible by combining modern science with the deep knowledge of the Waorani people. It also came with a stark warning: the Amazon is threatened by deforestation and oil spills, which could be devastating this newly identified apex predator. Sometimes, a new species is hiding right under our noses. For decades, a small population of baleen whales in the Gulf of Mexico puzzled scientists. They looked a bit like Bride's whales, but their behavior and genetics were slightly different. The mystery was finally solved in 2021. After examining the skull of a stranded whale from 2019, scientists confirmed it was a brand new species, the Rice's whale. This scientific detective work revealed the only baleen whale known to be a year-round resident of the Gulf of Mexico. But, again, the discovery was bittersweet. With an estimated population of fewer than 100 individuals, the Rice's whale is one of the most endangered whales on the planet, facing constant threats from ship strikes, fishing gear, and noise pollution in the heavily industrialized Gulf. It's a species being pushed to the brink of extinction at the very moment it's introduced to the world. Our final case study comes from the Philippines and shows that you don't always have to go to the most remote places on Earth. Varanus bitatawa is a giant monitor lizard, a relative of the Komodo dragon, that can grow up to 2 meters long. But, unlike its famous carnivorous cousin, this lizard is primarily a fruit and snail eater. Scientists became aware of it after seeing a photo of a local Agda hunter with his catch. The Agda people had known about the bitatawa for generations, and it was an important food source. This brightly colored, giant lizard was hiding in a relatively well-explored area, proving there are still huge gaps in our knowledge of the planet's biodiversity. So how are these modern explorers making these incredible finds? They have a powerful new toolkit. One of the most revolutionary tools is environmental DNA, or eDNA. Every animal sheds genetic material, skin, hair, waste, into its environment. Scientists can now take a sample of water or soil, sequence the DNA within it, and identify species without ever seeing them. It's like being a genetic detective. Then there are camera traps. These remotely triggered cameras, which react to motion and heat, can be left in the wilderness for months, capturing candid photos of the most elusive animals. As we mentioned, the only images of a living saola in the wild came from camera traps, and from orbit, high-resolution satellite imagery helps scientists spot unexplored areas. In fact, a scientist using Google Earth found an unexplored forest on Mount Mabu in Mozambique, which led to an expedition that discovered several new species, including a new viper. The story of modern megafauna discovery is a powerful, hopeful reminder that our world is still full of wonders, from the Asian unicorn in the misty mountains of Vietnam to a new species of giant anaconda in the Amazon. These animals are a testament to the resilience of life, but their discovery is also a call to action. They challenge us to look closer, to explore with wonder, and to redouble our efforts to protect the incredible biodiversity of our planet. The age of discovery isn't over. It has just entered a new and far more urgent chapter. The question is no longer just what other giants are out there, but whether we will act in time to save them. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. Join us next time as we uncover more incredible stories from the world of science.